So I did this unique planter design. I wanted to come up with something a little different, something cool. So today I'm showing you guys how I built this interesting planter. And I started off by cutting some 2x2s using the frame. And I wanted the overall frame to be 18 by 18. So I cut two pieces at 18 inches. And then I went ahead and measured what I had. Because I measured what I had those together, it was 3, because I was going to be putting the pieces of the other frame pieces in between. So I had to cut 3 inches off, which was 15. And so I cut 2 pieces at 15, put those in between just like this, and that gave me a 18-inch square, pre-drilled. Got some 3-inch screws from Deck Plus. I think I bought this kit from Walmart. It comes with a bunch of different sizes and whatnot. I also did use glue on the joints. Went ahead and did that. Got some clamps ready. Flipped them on over so that they could that glue could bond. Clamped it on up, and then I went ahead and screwed those in. I only used 1 screw. Nothing too major. And I popped those clamps loose, and I went ahead and I made 3 of these little frames because I wanted the planter to be 3 feet overall height, and just to make it solid, I put one of those frames on the bottom, one in the middle of the planter, and then one up top. And then right here, I'm cutting these. These are all those vertical pieces of the planter with the little curves on top. And right here, I'm using a little saw guide. This is what it looks like. It goes into that little hole where the arrow is, and then the material you use the material. And you put it right up against that little fence that guide has, and so it just helps you get a overall cleaner, accurate rip cut if you don't have a table saw. And at the time of this recording, I did not have a table saw, and I cut these strips down to 2 3/8 of an inch, and cut a bunch of them up. I honestly didn't even know how many I needed, just because this was a build on the fly. And then, as you can see right here, I just got the glue bottle, and honestly, I didn't even know that the glue bottle was going to be a perfect fit on these pieces. I just figured I'd get something round and then just make a curve, but you know, just the glue bottle ended up being an absolute perfect fit. Stacked 3 of them up at a time. Use that jigsaw to get that round over, and they didn't even come out perfectly, but you know, it is what it is. It came out all right. So got all those cut up. And then I did grab a 2x4. As you can see, there's a 2x4 and a 2x2 in between the 2 pieces of frames. Those are not going to be permanently installed. They're just kind of spacers. And then I did need spacers for all my little vertical pieces. So I got a 2x4, cut it down the middle just like this. And then I measured 5/8 just to make sure that my 2 spacers were absolutely perfect and equal. And that was the spacing between all my vertical pieces, was 5/8. If you're doing something similar, you could always just, you know, make them a little bit tighter, make the spacing a little bit bigger. But that's just what I went with. Put some glue up on them frames, and then I was over there slapping on all those vertical pieces. I started off with the two frames, and then once I had most of the vertical pieces on, then I did throw that top frame on towards the top of the planter. And then for all those strips, guys, I did just go ahead and cut them in half. So they were 6 feet long cedar planters. Cut them down to 2 3/8 of an inch strips, and then I just cut them in half, and then I rounded over the tops. Right here, flipped it on over, added the vertical strips onto the opposing side, and then I did right here go ahead and slap that top piece frame in. And of course, I'm using a little spacer down there just so that it's equally spaced apart. The frames went ahead and scribed a little mark just so I know where to put the glue. Flipped it over just so that I could nail all those in together. And then right here, adding some glue for that opposite side. Put the spacers in there. Flip it on over so that I could nail it. And then I was ready for the third side. And then as you can see in a couple seconds, I did not overlap on the corners. I put corner to corner there, just because the frame or the frames of the frame of the planter was 15 inches, and if I were to overlap one of the corners, my spacing was just kind of thrown off. So I didn't overlap. I just went corner to corner on every single corner, and it was looking all right, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Next, guys, I was doing the floor of the planter, and I just went ahead and I measured on the inside, or pretty much on the frame. I just measured, what was it? I think it was like 17 inches is what I cut these main supports at, so they could just sit on the lip in there. And then I cut, I think it was like 4 to 5 strips at 1.75 inches, and they were kind of just spaced apart equally. I didn't even give it like a exact number. I just kind of eyeballed it. Got all those little strips, nailed them together just so I could cut them all at once. And then I spaced them all equally, as you'll see in just a minute. And all these floor pieces were in fact scrap pieces that I had from previous builds. So it was just real easy, and I was trying to be resourceful. Cut them on down, as you can see here. And then I marked from the edge 1 inch, and then I went ahead and scribed the line, lined them on up, and then made a line just so that they were all kind of in line and uniform. And like one of them wouldn't be sticking out too much, and then it would, kind of not fit in the planter. But got that one started, and then I just equally eyeballed them, And boom, there was my floor of the planter. This planter was a little bit different than the ones that I usually build. I usually build them for soil. This one was mainly for potted plants that are already in a pot. And of course, I had to do the stand inside test. I'm almost 200 pounds, guys. So I always do this little test before I finish a design. But here it goes. Here's that plant all finished up, and it would look real great if I stain it or color it, paint it, whatever color. But had to throw it near the front door. Put a nice plant in it, and let me know what you guys think, man. See you guys on the next one. Peace.